Okay, question for me. Oh, Sandra, hiya. Your twig hoops are gorgeous. Did you have any struggles throughout the process regarding getting the silver to flow the whole length of the twig? Yes.
Yes. So we use the rectangular moulds from Durston because, let me just quickly go and get them for you to see. You won't have a problem with the rectangular moulds. The idea is the rectangular moulds are great because the hole is at the top. Let's go for a close-up by here. Okay, so we got the holes at the top. So when you make the mould, the metal flows in and flows and fills the mould. If you use something like these, which would like the original moulds that come with the Delft Clay, this one isn't. This is an alternative one. The metal has to go down in and then flow to fill up the mould, so it's not as good. So the idea is with the rectangular moulds from Durston, the moulds are like that. Okay, so then as the metal flows in down here, it will fill the mould. If the metal is hot enough and you have enough to fill the sprue hole, the force of gravity will just take the metal down and fill it up. These are the earrings that Louise is referring to. Really nice, gorgeous little set of twig cast earrings. So we did have a problem. The second time we did have a problem, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because what happened was, and you know, Louise has, I think you've only ever cast one thing in the past, haven't you?
Yeah.
Where's my rubber gone now? My board rubber. Back on the floor. So the thing is that when you have your mould, okay, so the mould is coming down here. This is where the sprue hole is. When you pour your metal from your crucible, okay, you have to make sure that the metal goes straight down and straight down into the mould, okay? So gravity just goes straight down. The first time Louise did it just like that, I'm not telling you off, I'm just explaining the reason behind it.
It was spot on, wasn't it?
Yeah. The second time, the mould came out and hit this side here, and then it sort of swooshed and then went down. And by the time it went swooshed and didn't go straight down into the hole, because now you're purely relying upon none of the weight of this metal pushing down. You know, this metal is purely filling the hole, and then it's going will flow down. And by the time it's done this and flowed down, it stopped about 10, 15 mil from the end.
Thirds, wasn't it?
Yes.
It filled in the last bit. So, yeah.
So you've got to make sure when you do tip in your metal, it goes straight down into the hole and not swoosh around.
I think I was trying to get really close to the funnel, the pouring channel. And
yes.
I thought that would, obviously I'm trying to get closer, but yeah. And I think as well, sometimes you do something once and it goes well, and then perhaps you go, well, that's easy, and you're a bit complacent, then you do it again, and that's the story of my life. But it's surprising how far you've got to take the crucible back away from the hole, because when you tip it, the metal doesn't just go straight down this way, it comes out at an angle like that. So you've got to position this about, I don't know, about 20 millimeters past from where the hole needs to be, because when you pour it, it'll go straight down. And I think my pouring channel was a little bit wide, maybe on one side, so it kind of wanted to go...
Yeah, it was more of that shape, wasn't it?
It wasn't as conical as it should have been, I don't think.
Because if you have that, the metal comes in and this is going to swoosh around.
Yeah.
So
it should have been more coney, shouldn't it?
It should be more like that. So the metal comes down and goes whoa, straight down and does that, as opposed to a swoosh back and forth. So yeah, a little bit more conical. But no, they worked out really good.
Why do you think it stopped?
I'd say the metal wasn't hot enough, because the bottom of the twig, the stump that's where it stopped is round. So I would say it wasn't hot enough.
Okay.
But the sprue was right, everything was right. You got a nice amount of metal on that. The pouring channel looks good, doesn't it? Yeah, it all looks good. Make sure your air holes, the lines coming out from the twig aren't too thick, which is what is perfectly right there. I don't think you've done anything wrong. I personally don't think that the metal was hot enough, or the metal has solidified But what I would try and do at the top where you've got the, where's the picture in picture here? Picture in picture here. There we go. So at the top, just where your top of the air holes, it looks quite thin. So what I would try and do is...
Do you mean here?
Yeah, exactly right by there.
So
just that point.
So the cone is here, that looks good, and then it comes in a little bit.
And then it narrows that section.
So you're talking about here?
Down a bit. Yes. Down
this
a bit.
Section here?
Down a bit.
Because it goes bump, bump.
It's right where the top holes are.
There.
Down.
Or there. Ah.
There. That, to me, that looks quite thin. And
but
perhaps,
that's the width of the twig, isn't it? You can't get no...
No, but this is what I'm saying. You really do need to have to look at your twigs and try and make it, or try and get it so the twig is tapered. So it's thick at one end and thin at the other end. So what you did with yours, your twig had a thick end and had a thin end.
So the thick end was at the top?
Thick end is at the top,
okay.
The thin end's at the bottom. You should always make your moulds so the metal runs from the thickest areas to the thinnest areas. If it runs from the thinnest areas, there's not much mass at the thinnest area, so the metal will cool quicker where there is less metal. And then it's trying to fill a bigger void as it goes down, and it's never going to do it. If you can have it so it goes thick to thin, or thick, but it goes thick to thin, you're going to have a better chance of the... Yes, it's got to taper slightly. And that's the thing with your earrings, they do taper. They're thin at the ends, but they're thicker where
That was just by chance and not designer.
No,
Can I just put that out there?
Yes, but it was. But I made sure that the twig that we had was that way.
And I still mucked it up.
And when you put it in the mould, it was the thick part at the top going down to thin. So I think if you try it again, perhaps get another twig that is tapered over that short length from thick to thin. And what you don't necessarily want to do, come back on me now, is you have your twig and you have a thin bit of twig and then it goes thick and then it goes thin, like that. What you don't want to do is something like that.
So don't have one that's
so what you don't want, because it's coming in at a thin area there. Because what I did was yours, because I made sure that when I cut your twig, it was here. So it was thick. The metal came in at the widest point.
Part. Oh, right, okay.
I do this, but I didn't say, but you know, your twig...
You didn't say, I just thought I was brilliant. I'm a natural, darling.
But if the twig is like this, you don't want to cut it and start to cast at the thinnest point. Cut it where it's thickest, like on a nodule, I think they're called. Cut it where it's thickest so it comes in and it's thick straight away. So the metal is coming down straight away. It's not having to negotiate a thin little area as soon as it comes in.
So if the whole thing, that's only with narrow objects, then if everything's a little bit bigger, you don't have to worry too much about it. Am I right?
So no. So if the piece you're casting is, say, a square, it doesn't matter because it's big. It's only if it's long and thin, like a twig. It has to go in thick, go into thin. It could
Presumably if you've got something conical, you're going to start with the wide end of the cone, and it's the same principle applies.
And it's like with the shell, you're casting a shell.
You're gonna cast the
whatever shell.
The big
you
bit.
Cast at the thick end.
Lovely
first.
shell, Andrew. Oh, I see now. Yeah, okay.
Thank you. I haven't finished. So it goes in from the thick to the thin. Never go from thin to thick, because the metal. If you think about the amount of metal that is at this little area here. If it's a small amount of metal, it will solidify quicker than a thick, wide part.
Because you mentioned as well heating, because I'm never really 100% confident that I've got the metal hot enough. And you said wait for the surface to roll.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Yes. So when you melt and you put flux on the surface.
Wear your eye protection as well when you're melting, because it's very
What I'm looking for is that, because we use some scrap, we use some bits of all sorts, didn't we? And what you'll find is that as you're melting it and it looks quite molten, what you'll see is sort of, say it's like maybe a bit of oxides coming up from inside to the surface, and it like rolls over the surface. As you tap, it appears on the surface and then it rolls out, rolls out, rolls out. It's like oxides coming off. Okay, sprinkle borax on the top of it, keep tapping, that'll keep coming up from underneath the actual metal. And once that stops and the surface is lovely and shiny, sprinkle borax, keep tap, 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 tap it. None of those oxides will be coming up at the middle like a spring, isn't it? Like a volcano. It's not shooting out. The little impurities are just coming to the surface and then going out into the outer edge of the crucible. Keep doing that until that is not happening. Then you can be sure it is molten all the way through. 10-20 seconds more, then pour it thickest end straight down the middle, and it should have a successful cast.